Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada.
You know, last week you asked me the different stories I thought were key in the NFL. And we touched down on some of them, but I think the key story overall, and we talked a little bit about Peyton Manning, is the race for the MVP this year. I do think Peyton Manning will win it, but you look at the parallels between him and Adrian Peterson. Not only are they having phenomenal season at their respective positions, they both had to overcome perhaps career-ending injuries. And the way they've come back, the way that Peyton's come back from that neck injury, and nobody in their right mind, when Adrian Peterson said he was going to come back and start the season, they thought this guy was sniffing glue.
He had two knee ligament injuries, didn't he?
But just the, New Year's Eve, there he was, after surgery and predicting he'll be back. So you look at these two guys, and when you look at the stats, for example, here, Grant, Peyton Manning so far, 3,812 yards passing with 30 touchdowns. And then Adrian Peterson in his last 7 games has hit 100 yards plus. And he's got 1,600 yards, going to make a run for 2,000. Now, he's playing for Minnesota, who's 7-6. If they had a quarterback, can you imagine how good that team would be? Because they're putting 9 guys in the box, and he's still rushing for 150 yards against the Chicago Bears.
I agree. Quarterbacks get the limelight, don't they? And everybody knows Peyton Manning. I mean, I know a lot of NFL fans, they all know Peterson too. But I tend to agree. I think Peterson, for me, is the guy that's doing a lot of hard work. Now, Peyton Manning, though, I think is the guy people will gravitate to.
Sure.
Two knee ligament damages for a running back to bounce back and do that. But then I guess maybe they should give 2 out, because the guy had a serious neck injury in Peyton Manning, and he bounced back too. My nod goes to Peterson. I watched him the other day, 154 yards. I mean, he just looked like Jim Brown or something. He just brought me back to the old days, because I love running backs. I know the passing game is great, but to see guys going around and or up, I just love watching that. And the way he was playing, I hear his coach, is it Leslie Frazier?
Yep.
He was saying that this guy has recommitted himself. He was always good for being serious about his craft, but even more so this year than ever before, and you're seeing that right now. So how do you pick between those two? I would go to Peterson because of the running back, because of the physicality of his position.
And that's the thing, Grant. They give him the ball 30 times. 30.
The whole offense is based around him. It's not a passing offense.
Yeah, but like I said, if they had a quarterback, this would be a serious team you'd have to pay attention to, because their defense is playing well enough this year, and they've drafted well so that they could be a contender. Another guy that you have to look at as far as MVP, and he won't get a mention, but the way he's playing this year, is Calvin Johnson. There are those people that believe he could break Jerry Rice's record. The only difference is this: with Jerry Rice, he was on his way to Super Bowl championships.
And he had great receivers on his team.
Sure, yeah.
The Lions don't have that?
Yes.
I watched him against the Packers the other night.
Yeah.
This guy is phenomenal.
Sure
and
is.
he has been for a number of years. Name me another Detroit Lions. Is it Pettigrew who's hurt?
Yeah. Well, no, he's a tight end, but yeah.
He's a receiver, though. I mean, he's a go-to receiver for the Lions. I could not name any other one.
Titus Young is a guy that they had that showed lots of excitement, lots of potential, but he had a bad attitude, almost a jealousy attitude that he wasn't the main guy. Well, when you're playing beside probably one of the best of all time, suck it up, man. Learn from him.
And he's not that good. He does. So Calvin Johnson doesn't have the support staff that other teams have. So he should be up there. He should be considered.
He'll be mentioned, but I don't think he'll win it. I still think you have to look at Peterson and Peyton Manning. And because of Peyton Manning being the quarterback and his name and his pedigree and
you can't fault
his
that.
history. No. But now, you got 2 excellent choices.
Now, is the MVP in the NFL most valuable player in the league, or is it like the hockey most valuable player to your team or something?
Well, league.
Oh, it's different. It's a huge difference.
Sure. If it was team, well, you could still argue either way.
You take Manning out of the Denver Broncos, it's an average team. He makes an average team great.
Sure. Well, Minnesota would be a 1-win team without this guy. And I think Howie Long put it into perspective. He said, I've seen a lot of running backs in the NFL. Bo Jackson was special. Adrian Peterson is close to being Bo Jackson.